Hello beloved, thank you for coming across this video. I've received some messages through my meditation today which I'm being guided to share with whoever shall come across this video. I think it's an important topic that perhaps not many people cover in the area of, I guess it's spirituality, but it's the grounded side of spirituality, which is psychology and our mental state and how that affects our emotions and our feelings, which I really feel as if we are still navigating as a human race on how to deal with difficult emotions. And it's an area that not many people like to go to because of the pain. And I have been guided to talk about this and how to help people, how to heal themselves and how to heal the wounds of the emotional pain that comes into us and is so powerful, and in many cases isn't even really conscious for some people because of having to numb to the pain and almost deny that there are these emotions, and finding a way to function in life that might be seen to be okay on the surface, but is actually quite disruptive on the inside for the person, and often to their closest relationships, or the challenges that actually we find in relationships, which are also related, very much related, using those words, see related relationships to the emotions, because that's how we discover that we have these emotions. And why do we have these emotions? Why are we here dealing with this stuff? And this is kind of because we chose to come into some sense of duality, to see what it looked like, to see what it felt like to be separated. And we talk about these kind of concepts of such as separation from source, and that I know sometimes sounds really waffly and really spiritual and doesn't really hold meaning when you're in a human body dealing with having to pay the bills and go to work and put food on the table for your family, and all the emotional relationship stuff that goes on within that, all the just weirdness of living as a human. And how do we navigate that part of it? This is what I'm talking about, really, but I'm trying to show the relationship to where that started from. And we are here, how to explain why we're here doing this and why we're having difficulty. So we came to experience the full range of emotions, right on the spectrum of down to deep, dark, depressed, couldn't feel any worse, and up to, the amazing ecstasy and joy and wonder. And of course, we all want to be in joy and abundance and happiness and feeling really positive. That feels good to us. And that is really, as people also say, our true state. But when we're not separated, we're all kind of one, we're all joined together, and we feel that sense of home, belonging, all those kind of things, which is what we look for when we come to the human earthly plane and try and find that here. But we keep finding the separation, we keep finding the rejection, we keep finding where things aren't as they should be. People are angry, people are negative, and we have these relationships where we get rejected or are told we're not good enough, and that happens in the first relationship we have, which is in childhood when we're born, and we get these parents. And I'm sure most of you listening to this probably would have had some parents that haven't met your needs in some way, that you felt neglected by, that you felt unheard by on some level, and then to the worst extreme have experienced actual real abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, spiritual abuse, control, extreme control, and these kind of things. So yeah, and so we find ourselves asking, how do we heal these things? And so this is why I'm doing this video today. I'm going to give you a few tips to get you to a certain point, and then some of the rest of it is up to you, really, and how you do it. And I'm also offering support and guidance and help and healing around these topics, because this is my particular specialty area that I work on within my role as a spiritual healer and also an emotional healer, a woman that has a social work degree that works in the actual mental health setting in the real world. So I know how to get these steps kind of clicked together to link into how they actually work. So I can see spirit, and I can see the psychology, the thoughts and the beliefs that go with the feeling, and how to heal it So, so we're talking about one of the main issues that humans are working on, which is the core rejection wound. And we deal with this because it comes up in all of our relationships. Pretty much, I believe, most of our health problems and difficulties we have in the world are actually related to this. And the various symptoms that people display of the pain of the core rejection wound are just various ways that they're dealing with this issue. So how does this come about, and how does this create a problem for us? So from, as I mentioned, early childhood, or even in past lifetimes, we've had this pain. And the pain has happened to us through rejection and of some kind. And we've attached to the belief that we're not good enough, that this person has left us because of this and that, or that this person hasn't given us, showed us the love that we need because of us, because of some fault in us, and therefore we are not good enough, and we are, just the bottom of the pile. And so we keep pushing ourselves into the bottom of the pile, and life experiences continue to happen that show us that we are the bottom of the pile. So we start to believe that, and we start to carry that pain as a feeling that we don't want to experience again, but yet keep ourselves in it at the same time. And that's that kind of double bind, and we get really stuck in that, and we fear any further rejection or any loss, and we fear the feeling of that pain. And so we go into these states where we try and avoid it. We don't want it to happen again. So we're avoiding that, or we're putting up walls where we stop people from hurting us, or we're kind of becoming defensive or controlling to try and make people, or manipulative to make people do what we want, so that we get our needs met. So those are some of the psychological symptoms of these problems. Okay, so how do we heal this? Okay, so whatever you're feeling, I'm hoping that at this point you're getting a sense of what this issue is creating for you in your life, how this is causing you problems and pain, and where you feel a little bit trapped, and where you want to change but you can't. So one of the first steps of starting to heal this wound is fully experiencing the loss and fully experiencing the pain, which is obviously something we don't want to do. That's why we keep avoiding it, or doing what it is that we're doing to not feel that pain. But we have to be prepared to just go into it and just go, okay, I actually am really pissed off. Behind that loss and the pain and the grief experience, there's anger, betrayal, denial, sadness, and just that real bereft feeling that you're just as low as you could go. And as soon as you've touched that place, you're just trying to get out of it. You don't want to be in it. You actually have to go right into it. Go to the end of that black hole of pain where that happened, that person did that to you, and just be there for a minute and realize our bodies and our minds and our souls have a way of just carrying us through that pain. When we hit that spot, there's just a cut-off point at some point that you can't go any further, and something comes in to help you. Okay, it's either adrenaline in the physical body when we go into shock or trauma, or actual physical pain. We might have had an accident of some kind, or we've injured our bodies. There's a shut-off point, adrenaline comes in. It's the same with our emotions. And the adrenaline for the soul is our higher self, or a source, or an energy that's like an angel, or part of us. Or for me, it was like a Mother Mary kind of person. And that energy comes in at that point and says, it's okay, I've got you. It's not that bad. It's actually not that bad. So you can only go so far on that, and then you will reach the end, and it's, once you've reached the end, it's actually not as bad as what you think. In fact, there's joy at the end of that. It's like you come back round. It's like, rather than a spectrum of deep, dark nothingness, it's actually comes back round and meets soul again, source. So you come back round and meet source, and you go, oh, wow, I had to go all the way to the pain to find myself. Great, okay. So I found myself, or my higher self, or source, there in that place. And so you sit in that place and you heal it, and you honour it, and you be in that space of just loving yourself, because this is where you meet yourself, and this is the place where people feel like they don't want to go, and it's where they go to get their needs met by other people and keep getting disappointed. This is the place you go to get met by yourself and feel the amazing love that you can give yourself. And you're like, oh, that's what I've been having a tantrum about the whole time. Didn't want to love myself. But what do you know? I was actually kind of quite amazed at how great it can feel. Okay, so you let yourself fall into that love and healing the pain and honouring yourself, whatever it is that you're experiencing that moment. Just being with yourself unconditionally, unjudgmentally, and in the most compassionate, loving way, just sort of rocking yourself in this kind of, it's okay, I've got you, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to be anything, you've been through something really tough, it's been intense, you've come down to the human realm to experience this dense, dark, heavy emotion in order to heal it, because you said you'd do that on some level as well. And you forgot kind of how hard it was, but your spirit team is cheering for you and healing you, and so are a whole lot of other spiritual light workers and warriors out there on the planet that are doing this work, and we have to be part of this. We have to be the team that kind of goes in first. The first wave is, I believe, to deconstruct some of these energies and heal them. And so on an energetic level, I see these pains and traumas for people quite energetically magnetized and stuck, and really I see a lot of iron, heavy magnets that kind of stick together and don't want to be pulled apart. It's like we enjoy being in our pain, and we kind of don't want to kind of let it go on some level, and we want to keep telling the stories that go with the pain, and we kind of get stuck in it, and it's very hard to let it go. Okay, so this is the next bit, okay? And this is where a lot of people go, I don't know how to let it go, so you've got to go back to step one, which is feeling the loss. So this is where, if you're ready to move on past the pain and to get into something else in a different energy, you can shift things by doing a lot of sort of cord cutting, checking in with those beliefs that might be a few more enmeshed beliefs that have created quite a layer of stories around your pain. So that could be stories and attachments to others, where you've let yourself believe that it's others that have caused your pain. This is where you need to let go and forgive, and know that, you know, and that blame game where you're like, you've hurt me, and now I'm just going to stay hurt because you let go, you didn't want to be with me, it's all your fault. That blame game, that victim, that's where we stay in that, and that's where a lot of people, to be quite honest, are quite stuck right now on the human level. And I'm not excluding myself from that, because I can tell you the only way I know about this stuff is because I've done it. I'm still doing it. I still have healing to do that comes up at different times as we travel through these ascension waves, and we go through these healing portals, and the planets are in their positions that give us the opportunity to see this stuff, to heal it. And so we're unpacking, and we're shifting that energy, and we're cutting those cords. So as we see the attachment come off the story, that belief that's like, oh, that person was the one for me, and I'm never going to give up on them, or something like that, but yet they've rejected you and caused you a lot of pain. Okay, so that's not the one for you. You know, that's what I had to tell a friend of mine the other day. They're just the one that caused you the pain, so you could look at the wound, so you could move past it, not sit in that story. Okay, so this is where we unpack our stories and drop the stories, which can also be another layer of pain in itself. Go back in and look at the story, go back in and heal the wound, keep doing those, and they all start breaking down. I see it like a wall. You're unblocking one by one the bricks in that wall, which are the stories that have led you to have to protect yourself from the pain, but that which you're now looking at and unpacking. Okay, then just keep going, and really the more releasing and surrendering you do, so that would be like you've got a wall, and therefore you've got a dam of emotions that are blocked up, and it's a whole lot of water. And what you could do at that point is, if you want to unblock, and surrendering and letting go is like just a dam coming through. And sorry, I lost my track there. I had to stop my video and come in, and like a tsunami kind of effect, and just break through a whole lot of stuff. And that's called surrender. And that's that beautiful, it is a feminine healing tool. Okay, so this is when we're talking about the divine feminine healing. This is what we need to do. Okay, so this is what we're doing, or each on a human level. And so on the human level, individually, one by one, if we do this, we are going to stop world wars, okay? Because world wars, this is what they're made of, where people have blocked their emotions. And I can't even, at the moment, don't want to go into that discussion around how that happens. But if we individually surrender and trust instead of fighting and putting up walls, and this is, you can see this happening with Trump. He's trying to show us the extreme level of this ego defense mechanism, and that's why we're doing this, and we're doing it one by one. So come in and break down your own walls. You're going to be given people that are going to show up in your life that are there to help teach you, but that you are being severely triggered by. So this is all about trust and surrender, trust and surrender, trust and surrender. This is where we're going to heal ourselves. Okay, this is the next level of healing past feeling the grief. Okay, so this is awesome, and it's a beautiful part of the healing, and it's makes it really easy and simple if we can get into this state. If we can get into this state, things are going to quantum leap and go quite fast and awesomely for you. Okay, so keep going on this trust and surrender with your higher self to guide you when you go back into protection and resistance and pain and put up your walls again. You're going to go through these little moments where that'll happen, and you just have to get through those times and remember these steps. Okay. Be aware there's some of the points along the way you go into negative self-talk where you're beating yourself up, and remember to, in that moment, do radical self-love and try and retell that story that's not about the rejection of you. It's about that person, and they're just showing you how to heal this wound, which is what you came here to do. Don't take it personally and create a big personal story around it. We're just here to heal the pain of rejection. Okay, end of story. Energetics. Okay, get into the energetics of the situation rather than the story. And if you're worrying about your own little story, sorry, I'm not meaning to minimize that, but use positive talk to celebrate yourself, your achievements. Be proud of yourself and what you've done, what you've managed to do so far. Don't beat yourself down and say, oh, can't do this and can't do that, and I haven't got there, and I haven't got any money, and I'm not doing okay. Actually, you are doing okay. So be saying, I am doing okay. Look, what I've had to get through to survive in this world, I'm doing pretty well, and I'm just going to get better and better, and I am getting better and better each time, and naturally you will be growing. It just happens. Okay, so look into where, if you are still feeling a bit of stuckiness, that's attachment. Okay, that's a desire, a link to someone around needing love, and just that attachment and how sticky that gets. See what you can do about getting into those thoughts that are relating around to that again, because that goes back to the same thing, rejection and feeling unworthy and beating yourself up. So now you can see the pattern. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, so look into that, look into anywhere where you're holding those beliefs and start clearing them out. Okay, and yes, the effect of some of that rejection can be pretty heavy. And, we do need to just travel through it, traverse through it, and remembering our tactics if we're numbing, if we're doing all sorts of other things to prevent this important healing. Just beware of that, and know that you'll always achieve a reward when you pass through these healing phases. And I see them like, the body is made up of all these different bones in the body layered on top of each other to keep us strong and healthy and growing. And these kind of beliefs are a little bit like that as well on an energetic level, but sometimes if they get heavy, then we start to get weighed down and we start dropping. So we've got to unload and that's something that the feminines haven't done that well. I say feminines and that feminine side of us. Okay, and I'm talking about males as well. I'm not talking about genders here. I'm talking about energy. The feminine energy has held and held on and been sort of shut down and felt very unloved. And so that victim sort of place is really beaten down. Yet surrender is past that, and surrender is just one level down from there, if you will. It's not actually up, because we keep thinking we have to lift ourselves up, but if we just let ourselves go, that's actually the same. Okay, on the feminine level, we'll be doing a different masculine energy balance, which is a different video. But this is what we're doing with healing the feminine part of ourselves, and video is just as relevant for males, because we are both male, female, balance with masculine and feminine energies. We're healing where there's wounding and those dual sides and the polarities. Great. Okay, so awesome stuff, everyone. Thank you for listening through this video, and if you do need any more help, I am here. I kind of call myself like a spiritual, emotional psychological midwife that kind of gets us through some of these stages of our healing process on the journey, and I can help you push through and how to face this stuff head on, and how to travel through these portals and come out the other side of our healing. Thank you, everyone. Sending you out a big, big hug. Lots of love from my heart. And please be in touch if you'd like to have an individual session, and click the link below. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.